My name is James Bridgeforth. I'm a young and very successful investor who has generated multiple tens of thousands of dollars investing in the stock and crypto markets. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down how this one stock could explode in 2026 and over the next 5 years. So before we get started, I want to first talk about how the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq have been performing on today. So the S&P 500 is sitting at around 0.65% up in the right direction, and then we have the Nasdaq, which tracks the performance of our top performing technology companies, and it's sitting up around 0.81%. So this lets us know that the markets have been performing well since our recent news data that has just came out. So if you aren't familiar with what this news data is, this is all the information that's been going on between the United States and Venezuela. And this all happened because we captured the president of Venezuela, and since then the United States is going to be running that country. And we also gain access to their oil. So if we look at this article by BBC, it shows us that Trump says Venezuela will be turning over up to 50 million barrels of oil to the United States. So this allows all of the gas and oil companies in our country to pour into Venezuela's oil as a reserve. And this is great because when you have a large demand for oil, now you are able to match the supply by digging into 50 million barrels of oil that we once didn't have access to. And if we further look at the article, it also shows that the oil is worth up to $2.8 billion. This is massive for many companies like ExxonMobil, which is the company that I'm going to be talking about in this video. ExxonMobil is a great company because it's performed well over the long run, and it's going to continue to perform well, like I said, because it's able to match the demand with the corresponding supply. So when you have that, it also allows the company to generate higher streams of revenue, bigger net income, bigger profit margins. So when you have bigger profit margins, it will reflect in the stock's price, not only just its income statement and balance sheet. So this is what's going to help all of our investors. And you also want to diversify at times. There's many times where we only focus on the big technology companies, the Magnificent Seven. But we also want to focus on some of our other sectors, such as the oil and gas sector. And I believe that Exxon is going to be one of the largest players in this space moving forward, specifically because of one, they're already a profitable company. They're already generating more revenue year on end. Their cash flow is amazing. They're continuing to grow in assets, and we also have this major news data that has just came out, and then we also see that the markets are performing well off of that. So I believe that ExxonMobil could be a great investment that you should keep on your radar in the next 5 years. So when we talk about ExxonMobil, let's go ahead and see what its current price is sitting at today. We see that ExxonMobil is sitting at $124.61. It's currently up 1.38% over the last day. This is simply because of all of the great news data that has just came out that I just explained. So we currently see that Exxon is sitting at around this price, but we also want to touch on what is a good buying opportunity for us to take advantage of. So when we look at ExxonMobil and we pull up the charts, one way I like to go about it is either looking at the 4-hour time chart or the 1-day time chart. So when we go over to TradingView, we can clearly see that our support level is actually going to be at around $120. So this could be a positive buying opportunity personally for me if I'm looking to add to my positions for the long term. This is also the last highest point that the stock was able to reach if we look back at this date right here. But when we also see that it also hit this same mark right here and it was unable to break through. And it's also serving as our 20-day moving average. So that's going to be on our 1-day time chart, to where I would see that 120 is going to be a major support level that I will consider buying at and adding to my position. Now, when we go to a shorter time frame and we go to the 4 hours, which is also a good long term to look at, you also want to see at this same price point that around the same support level that I listed at 120, we can also see that that's the same thing that's around our 50-day moving average at 119. So that's a great buying opportunity that just confirms it as well. And then if we go to any lower levels, maybe anything at 117 or 115, definitely. These are going to be the moments, 100-day moving average and 200-day moving average. This is basically how the stock has performed and what's the average that is taken over the last 100 days and the last 200 days. So we can see that our lighter blue is going to be our 100-day moving average, and our darker blue is going to be our 200-day moving average. Like I said, that's at 117 and 115, which is where I'm going to be loading the boat and buying even heavier in a stock like Exxon, because I truly believe as they're able to match that supply to the same demand, then they are going to increase their balance sheets and revenue at a higher pace than they have before. And this will simply allow us to get in at a good position and benefit like the investors that we are, so that the companies aren't the only ones benefiting from this. Because I can let you know now, when we look at how we captured the Venezuelan president, this is not simply because of the drugs that were coming into the country. This is simply because the United States wants access to the oil that they didn't have access to before. See, this allows the United States to become more powerful, allows them to have access to something that they didn't have access to before. So this is not simply from a perspective that we're just capturing the president, but there's always a plan behind everything, and the plan was to get the oil. And since they were able to do that, we want to position ourselves, because they're going to tell you that gas prices will go lower. This could possibly be a case, but it's really going to impact the institutions and the institutional investors. And these are the people that we want to become. So when we want to become wealthy, we need to put our money where the rich are putting their money, and we need to take advantage of every opportunity. Because there's going to be opportunities in the market, but if you're not strategically paying attention, then you won't be able to spot them and then take advantage of them. So this is an exact moment where I'm presenting this opportunity, where Exxon is going to be nearing all-time highs, and it's reacting positively to this new data, but we also are listing buying opportunities so that you can position yourselves for the future. So simply, all I'm telling you to do, I'm not telling you to buy at this price. If you want to, you can start to dollar cost average, but I will be simply putting this on my radar, waiting till it gets to my lower support levels where I can buy heavier so that I can benefit in the next 5 years, because this is going to be a long-term investment for me. I don't believe that the oil and gas industry is going to go away anytime soon. And don't hear all the fear out there talking about electric vehicles, because there are still going to be major things out there that are still going to require gas. So don't be afraid, but start to position yourself so that you can take advantage and be able to generate wealth for you and your family. So with that being said, if you learned anything new in this video, or if you're looking to position yourselves in ExxonMobil in the future, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that post notification bell so you never miss an update, and I'll see you guys in the next video.